Amy comes over and she goes, John, you won. And I just like, I was like, I like yelled at the top of my lungs. I had to stop myself because I'm like in a room full of people and I'm like, it was so exciting. And on the board that I told you about, I just gave you the hand. So our teammates play canapé. The North hand opened a spade, and now my hand overcalled 2 hearts.
Yes, I remember.
They played 3 hearts. And it went double. And this hand, the North hand, Jack 10 fourth, Ace Jack 7 of hearts, King and 1 diamond, happily passed the double and got 1100. Okay, I am here with Svenni Eiriksson, who I've wanted to have on this podcast for a long time for several reasons, but one of which is just I think that our friendship really kind of does a great job of exemplifying what's available to someone in the world of bridge. We won our first North American Bridge Championship as partners, but we started as friends in the Icelandic Bridge Festival, which was in 2018, I'm pretty sure, because the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Both times I've been to Iceland, the Eagles, my team in the NFL has won the Super Bowl afterwards, which I highly recommend. And that started. So I'm going to have you start, Svenni. So you were playing with Niels, and I know his last name, but I'm not going to try to say it. So you're playing with a fellow from Denmark, Niels, and you want to go?
Sure. So I mean, me and Niels, we met. I'm not sure where we met the first time. It might have been in Denmark. It might have been in Madeira. But we were meeting each other like 2 or 3 times every year in different tournaments throughout Europe. And then one night we were drinking together, and he said, "Okay, let's play the Icelandic Festival." And I said, "Yeah, that's a fantastic idea." And then nothing happened. Then he just called me and said, "I'm coming." I said, "Perfect, let's do this." So he comes, so we start to play the tournament. The playing is like up and down. We probably surprise each other, sometimes in a good way, sometimes in a bad way. And then like 1 hour before play finishes on the first day, that's the Thursday. A Thursday we start typically like 6 or 7 p.m. and we play till like 11:30 or midnight, maybe half past midnight. And he says, "Well, I need to get to the airport." I said, "What? You want to go home already?" He said, "No, I have to pick up my car rental." I'm like, "What?" So he told me this story that he went to the car rental ship and he tried to get the car, but he didn't have the car with him that he booked the car with. So they didn't want to give this car to this crazy Danish guy that he looked like.
Yeah, so they had prepaid. He prepaid for his rental car with a credit card, right? And yes. just for context, the airport in Iceland is like an hour drive. Is it an hour drive from?
Yeah, it's like Reykjavik? 45 minutes.
Okay, it's 45 minutes from Reykjavik. Okay, so sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, it's fine. I mean, I always forget that because I know it doesn't mean that everyone else knows it, right? So I find him a guy that lives close to the airport to drive him to the airport. And
at this late hour.
At least late hour after the tournament. Both of them are playing the tournament and they have to get back home.
Okay, got it.
So I know nothing. I just wake up the day after and we start playing 11 a.m. And Niels arrives and it's like he hasn't slept or anything. I mean, he's just so tired. And I'm like, "What the fuck happened? You got the car rental?" He said, "No." How is this possible? I got the 2 best guys to drive you to the car rental and get the car. So what happened was they went to the car rental, but of course it's end of January. There's no flights arriving at that time. So there was nothing open. So now he's stuck at the airport with no ride home and no car. So they drive him to where one of the guys lived, and he borrows the car of his wife. And the last thing he sees when he drives away is the wife coming out, who took my car? I mean, that was amazing. Yeah. So then he gets back to the playing area, and these two guys, they know how to do it. They just went to the car rental and said, "We're picking up a car." And they said, "Who are you?" "Doesn't matter. We just picking up for Niels, and leave me alone." So he finally got a car, and I think he didn't use it until he went to the airport. And the tournament was over, but I'm not so sure.
Yeah, it was like an ongoing saga of like his car, and then I remember just it sitting in like the basement of some apartment building.
Yeah, I mean, where's your car? Is I have it parked. I'm paying lots of money for parking. Perfect.
I wonder if that will be a good story for listeners, because it kills me, but like I've got a lot of wrapped up in it.
Yeah, but I think the last time I saw Niels, it was in Madeira, and he really wants to have a car there also. So he showed me receipts, and he actually had booked 2 cars. So better safe than sorry.
Huh? So then, so you were still living in Iceland at the time?
Yes.
Back in 2018. But you've moved to the U.S. When did you move to the U.S.?
So when COVID happened, I more or less went home, and I had no income because all bridge clubs in Iceland just had to close the doors. Some of them migrated to online, and I did some work there. And then I got this call from a club in that was here in Delray Beach, on the east side on the southeast side of Florida. And this was a club that was normally like in top 10 attendance, called Jordan's. And they asked me, "Are you an online director?" I said, "Well, I don't know, but I can set up tournaments online." Perfect. So we made a mutual deal, and Jordan's got online in the first wave of ACBL clubs. And I got very busy in the beginning directing for them. And as a consequence to that, they asked me if I wanted to come and be their live director at the club. But then Ora, who was back then managing the club, she passed away. The club got sold, and everything got very complicated. And it's a long story that we maybe should not get too deep into. And this club kind of merged to a club that was in Boca Raton, and is now relocated to Temple Sinai, run by Joanne Weingold, Jack Weingold, and Joanne's son, Dean. And I think it's one of the best, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, live club after COVID. I think it's only the online clubs who are better. So I mean, I got this job offer, and I got a work permit, and then I had no security to have a job. So I just decided to, if I don't jump on this opportunity to move to US, I'm going to be stuck in Iceland. I'm going to be stuck doing the same things I've been doing for the last 25 years, and that thought was not very, what do you say, positive for me. So I just jumped ahead and landed in Delray, and the strange thing is that I only do occasional directing. I mostly make my living as a pro player here.
Hmm. So when did you actually move?
Right after COVID, like half a year after COVID.
After being
Yes.
When's after? What's post-COVID for you?
Oh yeah. So let me see. What is today? It's May 25. So yeah, summer of 2023.
You moved here in the summer of 2023. So because I remember I played we played together for the first time at the Austin NABC, which was, I think, in fall of 2021, right?
Yeah, I was going to the nationals more or less since I think 2019 or 2020, especially the summer and the autumn nationals. The spring nationals was always a little bit challenging for me because of that's kind of the end of the season in Iceland, so it was difficult to get away sometimes.
End of the season in terms of what?
So the season in Iceland in Bridge starts like September, October, and it ends in like I don't know, beginning of May.
Mm. And when
so because of my directing and organizing, I kind of had to be there when the biggest tournaments were. It was sometimes difficult to get away, not always.
So you did you play professionally in Iceland, or you just directed?
No, there's no pro client environment in Iceland.
So you had.
And I can tell you one interesting, or maybe you think it's interesting fact. So in Iceland, the entry fees, especially for teams, are rather high. And that's because most of the teams in Iceland they have a company name attached to them. And the company can use it as a tax deductible. So nearly everyone in Iceland knows someone who has a company who wants to help them or use their own company names or something like that. So instead of having a client on the team who picks up the cost and stuff like that, the teams get to pick the players they want to be with, and not having the cost. And the federation gets to raise the entry fee. So everyone, it's like a win-win-win in some ways.
Yeah, I remember we both played in the WBT event in Iceland just this January, and your team, I think, was called Grant Thornton.
Yes.
And you guys were at the top of the leaderboard, just under us on the first day.
Yeah, we had a great start. And then the success got to our head. Not like you just steamrolled past it, right?
I remember playing you. I think we played you on that first day. And
yes.
Yeah, you were playing with Stefan Skorchev, who's a mutual friend of ours who runs into Bridge, where you do the daily celebrity challenge on there. It's always fun to watch your video, play against you in the daily celebrity.
Yeah, next time I'm going to have to say, so what would John do? Yeah, let's do something else.
So yeah, we first played together in Austin. We played the Swiss together.
Yes.
I was looking for a partner, and we played with an Irishman and an American, James. What's James? Darn it, James Hennigan.
Yes.
And I can't remember what his American partner's name was, but we made it to. Did we make it to the finals or just the second day of the Swiss?
I think we were number 2 of the first day. We were the last team not qualifying for the third day, something like that. We had a really good run, and then when it started to get tough, it somehow
it got tough.
Sometimes like that.
It got tough. And then you must not have come to the Reno NABC, because I don't remember you being there, which was the next one.
Yeah, I was in Reno.
Oh, you were there.
But I was playing. That was before
playing, like,
I won the NABC
events.
title with you, so I was playing the limited game. So maybe you didn't run into me.
And then we played again in the summer. We played the Swiss again. We made the finals that time.
Yep.
We did pretty well. I think we were 8th, maybe.
Yeah, I think we were 8th, yeah.
And we were teaming with Jovi Smedereva and Sasha Wernel.
Sasha, yes.
And so then we made plans to play the fall NABC together.
Yes.
And we played the Soloway. And after the first 4 sessions of the Soloway, do you remember how many VPs we had?
It was such a low number that I tried to, what do you say? Throw it out of my head, but it was an incredible low number. I never had such a bad start ever.
We had 9 VPs after the first after the first session. Four matches. Yeah, we like got blitzed in the first match, and then like at the second match, we sit down against Michael Rosenberg and Zach Grossack. So
yeah, I remember. Yes, we got a little bit unlucky with the drawing.
But you know, the truth is, we did get back into contention, and if we had like. I think if we tied our last match, would we have? I think if we tied our last match, we would have qualified.
I think both team needed 6 or 7 or more VPs.
Really? So we could lose our last match and
we could lose the match and still qualify.
Wow. And so,
but Is and Finn, they were having none of that.
No, we played. We have played the eventual winners of the Soloway, and they beat us pretty handily. And this is where the story gets good.
Yeah. But when you think about, I mean, this specific situation, that the eventual winners of the Soloway are playing against us, and we are kind of playing for, you know, to qualify for the next round, and we could both qualify. So we were both in the exact same position. And maybe by beating us, they got so confident that they just steamrolled through the past. I mean, who knows? They kind of thanking us for what they did and telling us that we should thank them for what they did.
Yes, true. So then, like the next day, the Mitchell Borda match starts, which is a 2-day Borda match scoring event, and we're playing with Jovi and Sasha again. And I think after the first day, we were in like the top 6.
Yes, something like that.
And then after the first session of the second day, we were in first place. We had like a big session that first session. And you and I were east-west in the evening. And I remember a couple of things. I remember playing against, I think it was Bathurst and Hurd, because they were in our section, and I kind of thought I knew they were in the top 10, and I was like, this is the team we got to beat. You know, this is for. And there was one hand where I misguessed the hand. I could have made something. And then later in the round, I held this hand. I held King 3rd, King Queen 10-8 5th. Stiff diamond, and Queen 10 4th of clubs. And the auction went pass on my right. I passed, thought about opening, didn't. And lefty bid 1 diamond. You pass, went 1 heart on my right. Pass. 2 clubs, pass, 3 hearts. And I remember being like, don't do it. You know, don't double them. Like, don't do it. And I did. And I think on our actual defense, they could have made an over trick, but they were like kind of happy to make 470 or 570.
It was 3 hearts doubled is 5. Was it 510?
No, I think it's 5. Not vulnerable. Isn't it 570? So I looked this up before.
2 making 2 is 470. So 3 making 3 is, isn't it 510?
It's 570. I looked it up.
570, okay. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I looked it up so I wouldn't have to do this. I don't know the part scores doubled making scoring by heart. I've taken it anyway. So anyway, I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. You know, like, why did I do it? I knew not to do it. And then like a round or 2 later, we played against Curtis Cheek and Disa, who Disa, I don't know I'm not even going to try to say her last name. She's originally from Iceland, a professional player, been in the States for a long time. And I remember they asked, how's it going? Because they probably knew we were in first going into it. And you're kind of like, no, this isn't happening. Like we're busted. We're busted. And then after the session, I remember I'm looking and there's this reporter there, Chip, for the ACBL, and I'm looking to see like where he's headed. Like where is he going to talk to the people who won. And so Jovi and Sasha still haven't finished, and we're kind of waiting for them to finish near the front of the room. And Amy Casanova, who also writes for the ACBL, comes up to me and goes, "Hey, how'd it go?" And I'm like, bad, like we did not. It was bad. It was bad. And she's like, "Well, stick around because there's going to be a photo, and you're definitely in the top 2." And so then we go and we compare with Jovi and Sasha, and I think we maybe had like 18 or 17 and a half. And Amy comes over and she goes, "John, you won." And I just I was like, I yelled at the top of my lungs. I was and I had to stop myself because I'm like in a room full of people and I'm like, it was just so exciting. And on the board that I told you about, that I just gave you the hand. So our teammates play canapé. And so they opened a spade. The north hand opened a spade. And now my hand overcalled 2 hearts.
Yes, I remember.
They played 3 hearts, double. And it went double. And this hand, the north hand, Jack 10 fourth, Ace Jack 7th of hearts, King and 1 diamond, happily passed the double and got 1100.
Yeah, I know. This is one of your best boards in the tournament, right? No, but maybe I should apologize when we played against Design Curtis because I do so much better when I'm logical and when I can think, logically, than when I'm emotional or when I think emotionally. So I'm always trying to downplay, so I don't get emotional or hyped up. So maybe I was protecting myself, but I didn't think so much that you were also watching and hearing what I was saying.
Well, it was close to the last. It was like one of the last few rounds that we played.
Yeah,
we played against.
I mean, I think we generally did well, but there was room for improvement. But in the last, I think in the morning session we had an incredible set of boards. So compared to that, we did not do very well. But I think our score was really high, right?
I think so. Maybe it was 17 and a half. It wasn't so easy to look up the individual game scores for that.
But it was also one of these tournaments because they play a strong club and canapé opening style.
Yeah.
And it was really, really good for that kind of system. Sometimes it backfires all the time, but this time it was winner all the time. And they, on top of that, they played really well also, Sasa and Joey. So I think, I have only good memories from those 2 days.
Yeah, it was the first NABC win for all of us.
Yes,
all 4 players on the team.
So when you won the mixed BAM, or was it the mixed Swiss?
Mixed Swiss.
Mixed Swiss. Were they on your team too?
No.
You were playing with Lily?
Yeah, I played with Lily.
Who were the other 2?
And then Matt Brown played with Sophie Bowdish.
Okay.
Yeah. We played the mixed in Phoenix that year that you and I won the BAM with Sasha and Joe.
Yeah, Lily and that's what we played. And you came close to winning, right?
We were 4th.
Fourth,
I mean, we didn't really come close to winning. The team that won pretty convincingly.
Okay.
Who was the first person you called when or what were your thoughts when we won that event?
I was just, I hadn't really foreseen this, thought about this, and I'm trying to compartmentalize. So like I said, I'm trying to keep my emotions in order and just trying to think logically. But this was a big surprise to me because I didn't think that especially after our showing in the summer that we could put 2 days like that together and really easily. I even think that the team that finished second, that they thought that they kind of had done enough to win. So they were I think more disappointed than I was happy somehow.
Let's see. I was looking at it. We beat them by 2.68. We had 39.68 and they had 37.
So it's nearly 3 balls, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say that's a pretty good win in BAM. And how much did you win the mixed race with? Was that was like pretty easy, right?
No, I mean we played the leaders in the 7th match. There's eight matches, and we beat them by like 20, I think. So now we were in the lead, and then I remember we played 7 boards, and after the 5th board, I was like, "There's no way we just can't lose." Like we in the final match, but I didn't actually realize at the time that the other team was that close to us, that we played in the final. I didn't, because I looked at the scores. I didn't see what their score was, so I was a little misinformed. I thought because we beat the leaders by so much that we just sort of had like a bigger lead than we actually did.
But I mean, I just remember when I was looking at the scores, you were always in a good position, and I thought, wow, this is going to be so nice. He's going to get 2 titles just like that. Bang.
Well, I did not have you on so you could fluff me like this, but I do appreciate it.
No, but it's nice. I mean, success is nice.
Yeah,
now
absolutely.
You have to get used to it, John.
Absolutely. I want to tell the listeners about another hand from Phoenix. So this one, and this is like the funniest dummy comment that I've ever experienced as a bridge player. And I think one thing that I would like non-bridge players to know is like how hilarious like bridge humor can be, but like you could never explain it to a non-bridge player. Like it would take so much. So anyway, yes. We're in the finals of the Blue Ribbon Pairs in Phoenix. It's 2022, board 3. It's the last session. We have had like a pretty middling performance actually, no, I think we did like average in the first set. But this was like, I don't remember how, it was like some point in the middle of the set. And we're playing against Josh Dunn. Oh, shoot. I don't have that. I forget who we're playing against a strong club pair. Josh Dunn. I forget who his partner was.
Was that just on Jan Jansson? Maybe not. Maybe not starting.
Was it Hinsey?
Oh, Hinsey. It could be Hinsey, yes.
I forget. So it goes 2 clubs. And I had stiff, Queen Jack 3rd of hearts, 10, 9, 6 of diamonds, and 3 little clubs. And we're unfavorable. So it goes 2 clubs on my right. I pass. And now my lefty bids 2 hearts, which is non-forcing. I think that's what they bid.
Yes.
And so you double. And I don't remember what happened. I think maybe my righty passed, and now I bid 3 diamonds. And now I forget the auction itself, but all I know is the final contract was 5 diamonds doubled. And so I had 6 diamonds, like I'm like, okay, it's not that, can it be that bad? And so I think like at some point through the play, I think I was down 500 already when you uttered, maybe it wasn't 500 yet, but you go, I think I might have fucked us.
Well, that's
like aloud. The whole table could not yelled it, but it was a small solace for the 1100, which was precisely 100% of the match points for our opponents.
Oh, but it's a little bit devastating for me afterwards that I said I only think I like this. I was not sure. Yeah. I mean, this is. I sometimes do this, especially in pairs. I get these crazy ideas, and I just can't push them away.
Yeah, it was a nice. It was a. It was probably like the most I've enjoyed going for 1100. Like really, when they have, although they do, to your credit, you did judge it maybe better than you're getting credit for. They do make 7 spades on the spade hook.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. North had kind of a tough hand they bid. They had Queen 10, fifth of spades, and Ace King. Maybe they bid 2 spades. Queen 10, fifth of heart. Sorry, Queen 10, fifth of spades, Ace King, fifth of hearts, Jack and a diamond, and a stiff club. Maybe they bid 2 spades.
Oh, yeah. We had 3 clubs, right?
I think what happened was, we had 3 clubs. So I think what happened was it went 2 spades. Now you doubled. Did you double? Maybe you didn't double because you had a doubleton heart, but you had 16. Your hand was King third, 10 and 1, Ace King Queen fifth, King Jack third.
Maybe they bid 2 diamonds on the other hand.
No, they did. They made a non-forcing bid. I'm pretty sure because they had a stiff club. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
You know, we had some ups and downs in that tournament, but the up can never take away.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Who was the first person that you called when we won?
Oof. I don't remember exactly. Was probably.
I mean, it's late.
Probably my mom.
It's late in Iceland, you know. Like it's probably we're in Phoenix.
I think I sent a couple of. I think I sent a couple of text messages or messenger messages. I think so, but I mean, there were so many people who came to congratulate us, and it was like we were the what do you say, the favorite of the room or something like that. So it was difficult to get away.
Yeah.
But I think this is maybe my most successful moment. Getting an NABC title here in the US. So and I have that to thank you and our friendship. Yes.
I mean, same.
But that is also, I mean, one big part why I've never stopped playing. That is you meet so many people you like. You also meet some people you don't like. But I mean, what stands up is all the people that you like, all the people that you socialize with, and all the people that give you more meaning to your life, and maybe sometimes you can help them in their lives. And it's also easier as you get older to be competitive at the table, and then you stand up, and what happened at the table, you leave at the table, and you know you're enemies for 16 boards, and you stand up and you're friends again. I didn't used to be very good doing that when I was younger, but I'm getting better and better.
I remember, I think it was from Austin. There was like a deal where you had to make the hand on a trump coup, and I just remembered how easily you did it. Like it's just like you didn't even, and I was like, wow, this guy, he's got some game.
When you have techniques, sometimes some of the techniques are really easy for us to understand. I think it has something to do with how we memorize the cards, how we put them together. Some visualize them, some see the numbers, and I think for example, it's an interesting thing to ask people when you watch BBO or whatever. Do you use the cards, or do you use the symbols? Because of how I memorize things, trump coup is really easy for me because you put 2 or 3 trumps on the right, and then you have to have these cards on the left and stuff, and it's so easy to do. So I execute it nearly without thought because those are very, very easy things to visualize for me. But then I have other things that are a little bit more challenging. But I think it's mostly because how I visualize. So when I watch BBO, I like to use the symbol. So what do you call it? So
I use pictures of cards.
Yes.
I think I use pictures of cards.
Yeah. So
you use the opposite of that?
Yeah. Because I'm like old school. When I was young and I was reading all these Blitz books, they all had, diagrams and stuff, and that's how I visualize the hand because
so it like shows like the longer suits are more like.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do that. I just have spades, hearts, diamonds, clubs.
Oh, maybe we do it the same way then.
I'm
not saying I visualize the same way. Like, I don't. Yeah, trump coup is. Certainly trump coup is not something I just like. Yeah, but I was impressed.
But this is one of the easiest thing to visualize and set up, and it's for me it's always easy, especially when I play teams and you have like one line to play for. It has to have this, then you can make it. And you see this when you see these really slow players, that when they have one line to choose from, it goes pretty fast. When they have two lines, okay, now it slows down a little bit. But 3 lines or more, I mean, come on. You have all these guys, and it's just impossible to play against them, like Michael Rosenberg, for example. I'm sorry, but I understand that they're just choosing from maybe 2, 3, or 4 lines which one to pick.
Yeah, a lot of times, like there was a hand from the trials recently. I played the team trials here, and there was a hand where we won a swing because my partner and I bid a slam, and there was like a line that I hadn't even seen, that my partner told me about. I won't go into the specifics, but the good news was the finesse that I took won. So we made the slam. Okay. But there was maybe a better line. I needed like hearts to break 3-2, and I had 2 dummy entries to establish like the hearts. So you're living in the US. You've been on the Icelandic Open team a good many times. Are you thinking about changing thinking about playing in the US trials?
So if I'm to be honest with you, I haven't really given it a thought.
Really?
I'm just trying to get myself settled, and right now in Iceland they're doing they're doing pretty good stuff to get to a place where they'll be competitive again, and I wish them the best, and I hope that they do the best. And right now, I mean, I like to play the trials here in the US because it's just fantastic atmosphere. It seems to be a really strong thing, but I haven't really thought about it, and I don't really have a steady partner here in the US that I have a system.
Right.
What do you say? Agreements with, and I don't think it would be fun to go to a tournament at that level. Just playing some ABC bridge, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I haven't really thought about it that much. I mean, I think I don't stand a chance to represent Iceland at least for the next 1, 2, 3 years. But as I also have the same problem there, I don't have an Icelandic partner. So this is something that I'm not gonna really think about right now. If an opportunity comes up, maybe I'll jump on it.
So when did you last play for Iceland?
I think it's at least more than 2 years. The last tournament I played for Iceland was Europeans in Madeira. Is since 25, 24, like 2022.
Yeah, that sounds right. I looked. That sounds right. So you could, if you decided to play in the U.S. trials next year, you would be free to do that, basically.
I think I could even. There's only the senior left, so I could have, like, with 1 day advance, I could probably change to US if I wanted to. I think I have all the necessary. What do you call it? Necessary. I mean, I live here and I haven't represented Iceland for more than 2 years, so I have all the things needed. But like I said, I haven't really given it a big time thought. Maybe I'll think about it if I find someone that I can have some agreements with, that I like to practice with, and I like to play with. Because now I'm starting to understand that if you don't like the person you're playing with, and you don't have something in common that you can socialize with outside of bridge, it's going to be difficult to form a long, standing partnership, right? Well, all of us are different. I mean, some people need the socializing part. So other people can move on without socializing at all. So maybe it's personal. I don't know.
So how do you like living in the U.S.?
I actually like it a lot. And the first 9 months I was here, I stayed with Mike and Ellie Capoletti, and I would especially like to thank them for their help to let me stay at their place and to help me build my client base. And then I bought a house in the same, in the same neighborhood as them. And so our circle is like 28 duplex houses, and I live in the next duplex to them. Mm. So I mean, we meet every day, and they cook a lot, so they invite me over for dinner every day.
That's cool.
So my really, really strict diet goes down the drain once a day.
What do they make? Who's the cook?
They made all kinds. I mean, Mikey is pretty good, and he's good on the grill, and they make all kinds of. Mm. Well, I would say probably would describe it as typical Southern food.
Yeah,
like where they're from.
Yeah,
and they make it pretty nice and very big portions.
Today's Saturday. Go ahead.
And then in the next circle, close to us, Shannon Capoletti lives with her mom. So it's a very, what do you say? There's a lot of socializing with all of us. So it's not a bad place to be in.
So today's Saturday, May 10th. Are you having dinner with the Capolettis tonight?
Yes, I'm having chicken and dumplings.
Ah.
Mm. And I'm going to have chicken and dumplings with Capoletti, and Capoletti.
Oh, Shannon will be there too?
Yes.
So for those listening that don't know, Shannon is Mike Capoletti's first wife, and Allie's his current.
Yes.
His current wife.
It's a dynamic friendship that would not work out for everyone, but it works out for them fine.
How much bridge do you guys talk normally?
We don't. So because we also have. Sometimes we have people around us that are not bridge players, so we try to not do that much. But I mean, we like to give each other problems, especially when we sit in the same direction at the club. I mean, I'm starting to understand now that I don't open one note trump nearly enough. My first thought should be opening one note trump on every hand.
Right? So you're making a joke about Mike Capoletti. Penchant for opening one note trump. He has like his note trump range is like 12 to 17. Is that?
Yeah. Well, I think maybe wide range is his preference, but I mean, it's more of a myth than something else. It's something that we like to laugh about.
What's the worst hand that you can remember that he told you he opened 101?
So I remember that a friend of mine told me that it's not uncommon that when Mike opens one no, that they opened one no at the other side also. But it was 12-14 at the other table. And then he said, I'm just waiting for it. That he opens one no, they open one no 10-13. And then that happens. So I'm told. I don't know. This might all be made up because this is something that people like to talk about.
How did you become friends with Mike and Ellie?
So I met them at the Nationals, and they are very social and very nice people. And at the last minute when I was moving to Delray, I lost my housing. Mm. And I told them what happened. and asked them if they could help me find something. Just come stay with us.
Oh man.
And I would say that might have been one of the best things that have happened to me, because I formed a very good friendship with them, and they treated me so incredibly good, and both of them have a heart of gold. And the first thing Ali did, she said, when I came, she said, well, what kind of coffee machine do you like? And so I went on Amazon and I said, maybe I like this one. One day later, it was there, in front of the door.
Wow.
She just, I mean, she wants people to feel nice, and both of them do. But and I was just not used to people, taking the extra step to make you feel extra comfortable. So I mean, it's always nice when you meet people who will become your longtime friends, and I hope that for sure that I have formed a nice friendship with all the Capillaris.
But you stayed there for 9 months. Like, what was it like when you finally moved out?
Well, it was nearly the same. It takes me like 5 seconds to walk to that
place. So you moved from there to where you're living now?
Yes. So I was looking around in where they live, and the good thing about this is it's what do you say? It's a guarded or a fenced neighborhood, but it doesn't have a guard or a gate where you go in and out.
Okay.
So the HOA fees is like $300 per month. And that includes they take the trash, it includes cable, landscaping.
Oh, okay.
And we have a pool.
Internet?
Every circle. Heated pool.
Does it include internet?
No tennis court, no golf court.
Does it include internet, though, the HOA fees?
Yeah, no internet.
So, but Florida is very different from Iceland.
Yeah, it's very different in every aspect. And I thought I would take it would take some time for me to get adjusted. But I mean, I don't have kids, and I didn't have big roots in Iceland, even though I had been living there my whole life. So it was a fairly easy transition. I mean, my biggest problem is maybe the very humid July, August, September.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's like Iceland. It's very dark and cold during the winters. It's just something you have to get used to.
Yeah, I mean,
but then on the other hand, the bridge here is more. I mean, you have more options than in Iceland. And it's nice that the club is like 3 miles away from me. And during the season, I play there 4 or 5 times a week.
And you've got a ton of strong players in the field. Is that that's a good thing, right?
It is. I mean, ideally, you would like one club where you get all the best pairs in great partnerships to play, but you can't find that environment anymore, maybe except online. And as much as I like online, I prefer in so many ways to play live, because I like the social part of bridge. And maybe I didn't realize how big part of bridge the social part is until COVID happened. I thought I would miss the competitive, the competitiveness of bridge, but I found out that I was miserable mostly because of there was no social interaction with my friend, and all these things, you tell everyone around you how stupid they are because you made the right play, they made the wrong play. All these arrogant, stupid, prick, dick-like comments you can do, and I think that's one of the fun things. If they're not hurtful, you're okay. Yeah. We don't take them personally. I mean, it's one part of growing up, yeah. And I really miss that. I see a lot of people who started to play online and they still play online. And I can also understand that some people don't want to leave their places. And also, COVID taught people that even though you live in Florida and your friends live in New York or Canada or Boston or wherever, that now you can play with them online instead of having to wait until you're in the same place at the same time. And I think that's also a good thing, that you can get get reacquainted with your friends, and you can continue play with them even if you relocate. So I mean, I'm not saying that online bridge is bad or anything. I'm just saying my preference is by far to play online.
You mean play in person?
Sorry, in person. Live in person.
What did Allie tell me? Allie told me something funny. She said Svenni thinks he's really funny, but he's not.
Yeah, but what is that about? I have friends who tell me that I laugh at my own jokes. I mean, okay, if people don't think it's funny, I mean, someone has to, right? But I mean, I'm also just trying to be positive and trying to to have a nice look at the future. So I want to smile, and I want to see people smile around me, and sometimes it goes together, sometimes it doesn't. Last month, I took a friend of mine who was a good friend of Mike Capoletti since forever. His name is Mike Gamble. We went to the Toronto Regional, and I really like the Toronto Regional. I think Canadians are a little bit more relaxed than the normal Americans, or maybe the normal Floridians. I don't know. There was less directed calls, and everyone was just more relaxed. And I had a great time there. And from there, we went to Iceland, and we played the finals of the Icelandic team. And in Iceland, we have this open semifinals where normally around 35 to 44 teams play, and the top 12 qualify for the finals. And then we play a round robin, 11 rounds over 3 days, and the top 4 teams qualify for the last day, but they take 100% carryover with them. So every match has the same weight.
Got it.
And this year it was pretty nice because in the last round, we played against a team that was leading the round robin. And I think we needed to beat them by 3 games.
To win the whole thing. To win the whole thing.
To win the whole event. So Gabby was going to be the first Canadian to be Icelandic champion. But he was 5 games away. And I mean, as much success you've had, it kind of always hurts more when you lose it by that small margin. Then I mean, of course it's fantastic when you win, but it always hurts more when you lose. You always remember more how you felt when you lose than when you win. Except maybe the first time you win. The first 1 or 2 times you win, it's nothing can compensate that. But when you lose, when you're used to winning, you don't like to lose.
So your teammates were Icelandic when you played with Mike?
Yeah, I probably had the best Icelandic pair, and then me and Mike, and the third pair is pretty competitive pair. This team was doing good before we came, so.
Oh, so they added you to the team?
Yes,
because you didn't play the qualifying.
This is kind of my team in Iceland before I moved. So
got it.
So we stayed friends, and it's it's always nice to go to your to where you had your first bridge experience, and where you learned bridge, and where you have your friends, and then play with them and do well.
I remember what I was going to ask you. So in 2018, you played the World Bridge Series in Orlando.
Yes.
And you were in the Open, you were on Team Maybe.
Yes.
And so my team finished, I think, in the top. Did 64 teams qualify or 32? I think
64. Right?
Okay, so maybe we were in the top 16, I think. So we got to pick. And at this point, I knew you, but I did not know your name or how to spell your name.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
And so we got to pick from the bottom qualifiers, and we picked you.
On this team, I had Bob Jones, and 3 guys from South Africa on the team. And then I was playing with an Icelandic friend of mine, Jakob Christensen, who actually lives in Delray Beach also.
I remember him.
He used to be a full-time director at Jordan's. So that's how that team got picked up. Bob was the husband of Aura, so they owned Jordan's from before. Yeah, I remember that match. I think you were playing with Roger Lee.
Yeah.
I met Roger Lee, I think, 1 or 2 times after that, and he told me that he couldn't believe that how we played. He was always waiting for us to, give him 10 or 15 or 20 hits, and he's still waiting.
There was one board in particular where in like a competitive auction, I had like probably a 7 count with like ace fifth of diamonds, and Roger, I never bid. I hadn't bid at this point, and now Roger had already bid, and he made a takeout double, and I needed to jump to 5 diamonds to show that I had more values than I had shown, and I just bid a meek 4 diamonds. That your teammates were very happy to let me play it there, and we were vulnerable. And I don't think even if I bid that we were going to beat you, but I just remember being like, shoot. When I saw that you were on the team that we were playing, and
I don't take stuff like that personally when someone picks me or things like that. It's just, when you finish in the bottom 16, someone has to pick you. It's just one part of the thing. It's like when you pick someone, it's not that. You have to pick someone, right? So and sometimes upset happens. And then we went on to the next round, and we played against Boye and Espen and Diamond and Platnik, John Diamond and Brian Platnik. And I think after 5 boards, we could have just given up. It was just one-way ticket for them. And I think they still don't understand how we could beat you guys. They just look at us, how can you get this far? That's how they felt.
When we last spoke, you said you weren't going to Poland for the Europeans.
No, I'm not going to Poland. I have to go to Greenville, and maybe I will go to a regional in Canada before. It's just too much for me to go to Poland also. I would like to go to Poland. Generally, I like Poland. I like Polish Brits. I like Polish people. And now 10% of the Icelandic population is Polish.
Oh.
I think we have direct flights from Iceland to 7 cities in Poland. And I don't know if you know, but if you went to a grocery store in Iceland, you can get Polish sausages and sauerkraut. That's some stupid campus or something. We don't buy it, Icelandic people, but the Polish people, they love it. So
we had a Polish server actually when I was there, and so it does jive a little bit with my experience.
I think it was Kalida who told me that going to Iceland is just like going home to Poland. Everyone is Polish. You get Polish servers, Polish waiter, and you go to the grocery store, Polish stuff. It's just like home.
What's your favorite thing? What's the thing you miss the most and least about Iceland?
It's for sure my friends and the culture. My friends and family and the culture. What I miss the least is probably the dark during the wintertime. I don't mind the weather so much, but when it starts to get dark, it's a little bit worse every year. I'm not saying it's to a depression level, but every year is a little bit worse than the year before. When I was young, I didn't care at all because I was so busy doing a lot of stuff. So you don't care if it's bright or light or dark outside, if it's cold or warm. You're just going to do your stuff. But when you get older, these things affect you a little bit more. And for example, that's the reason why we have so many people going to the Madeira Bridge Festival in November. Because it shortens the winter a little bit. and the weather in Madeira is not that warm,
right?
But it's warm enough, right?
Yeah.
And it's a perfect like 1 or 2 week getaway before the winter starts in Iceland. And I think last year we had close to 100 people coming from Iceland.
Wow.
I think it was like 70 players and 30 people who came with them. And I mean, that's a lot coming from a 400,000 population island, yeah.
Were you organizing that group or somebody else?
I used to help them book, and I used to, make sure that they would pay and all kinds of stuff like that. But now the organizers themselves, they do that. So I'm just like what is an advisor to the tournament committee. I mean, when they want to change something or do something, they ask me. I mean, I'm not the only one they ask, so it's not like I have sovereign decision. But they like to ask me, and if they want to, for example, now they're asking me how should we try and get American players to come. I just told them, I helped them to get advertisers in the bulletin, so they get the tournament advertised in the national. When you have a national in the bulletin there, I think that's maybe the best platform for them. And I think they want to go to one nationals with what do you say, stand up
like a booth and
ad or something like that. But I don't know exactly what they want to know. I thought the best way to promote is to have a nice looking advertisement that makes people, curious and want to go. I mean, you've been there, one or two times?
Just one time. But the reason I went was because people said what a great tournament it was. Like hearing people talk about, and this is good, like right here, me and you talking about it for the, the 5 people listening are like, yeah. No, I had heard consistently from friends, foreign friends, what a great tournament it was. Kind of like Pula, I hear is a great tournament.
Yes.
I know Stefan Scorches said you sent a group to his tournament in Sofia.
Yeah, but he was organizing a tournament in Sofia. I also went to Albania, that's close to Varna in Bulgaria. I went there like 6-7 years in a row.
Oh, wow.
Those are places, I mean, when I was in Iceland, I like to go to warm places that were cheap and that had not a really inconvenient flight for me. So here in the U.S., I mean, you have more options in the U.S. You can just go to another state for a regional. You kind of have the same thing. The only thing that I'm really unhappy with here in the U.S. with the regionals is that every regional is exactly the same.
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah, I mean I think that's largely true, and like in Europe, you get prize money at all these tournaments just about, and you get a completely different culture, and you get people that you wouldn't come across if you didn't go there. Whereas a lot of the U.S. regionals, you're coming to, like it, and it depends, like when let's say you hired a pro team for a regional, or you're on a pro team, do you care? Like, how much does your sponsor pay attention to what the expected attendance of other pro teams is in terms of booking?
I think most of the other pros are, not all of them, of course, but most of them are very point oriented. So they want to get their points. So they don't want to go to two. I mean, the problem now, I think, is that some of the regionals are too top heavy. So this means that a lot of the teams that would maybe go into play the top bracket, they play pairs the first day. Then they go into the one-day Swiss team the second day, right? And now you have people who would like to play the first day of the pairs who don't go into the pairs because you play against the pro on every table the first day. But then these guys go to the one-day Swiss. But let's, for example, say you would do a 2-day qualifying, or like a 1-day qualifying pairs and 1-day final. Now you can now you have like, I don't know, maybe it doesn't solve anything. But I think I would like to see some regionals, I mean, run in a different way. And I thought maybe Gatlinburg was one that was closest to being where you got to meet players like who were your peers, because they had so many teams, there were so many brackets. And like you said, when you go to a regional now and you're on a pro team, you play the top bracket and you meet the same people you met the last regional or the regional before. I mean, there's nothing new. You play against the same people every time.
But wasn't Gatlinburg during the team trials?
Yeah, no, I never been to Gatlinburg, but I just follow the results. I see how many brackets they had, and before COVID, I mean, it was unbelievable how many brackets they had, and even how strong bracket. I mean, the bracket B. But I mean, if you go to a normal regional now, I don't think. I mean, the top bracket is pretty competitive in most places. But after that, I don't think it's that strong.
I don't know. I've gone to some regionals where there's no pro teams with a pro team, and it's just like, I don't know. I don't really spend money hiring a team for a regional anymore, just because it's not worth it. I don't have just so much disposable income that I just want to light it on fire.
Yeah, but I also think it's also what you get for your money, and this is maybe not a good practice anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not playing with your regular partner that you have good agreements with, I mean, what's the gain from it? You get 79 points, you get 102 points. I mean, what's the gain?
Well, I do love playing bridge. You know, I do love playing bridge.
Yeah. I mean, outside of that,
opponents.
I mean, if we wouldn't love playing bridge, it would be really hard to play so much bridge. But what is your favorite tournament outside of US?
I mean, Iceland's amazing because it's so different. Like it's, the tournament's at the end of January. It's literally the first day we got there, the sun rose at 10:30 in the morning practically.
Yes.
It's like the weather's so bad that it would just completely shut down the city where I live here in Virginia. We can handle snow, but and I'm watching this bus drive down this hill in the center of the city, and I'm like, how is that bus going that fast? And then only later when we were in an Uber did I find out that people put spikes in their tires during the winter so they can handle this icy, mess. Because I'm watching this bus go down this hill, and I'm like, that guy's barreling down the hill. And I've gotten in a wreck from ice before, in a car wreck, and I'm just like, I'm like almost having like a trauma response because I'm like, how is he going to stop? And I remember just coming from the airport this time. So Iceland, I played in the Europeans in Tromsø, Norway, which was like the opposite. So it was in the summer. The sun did not go down. I mean, that's probably those two, just because they're such kind of far end of the
big
spectrum.
Contrast to what you are used to.
Yeah.
But it's also, if you go to Iceland in the spring when there's no snow and the car drive past you, you can hear the spikes going on the road. And when people are not used to it, they say, "Well, what's that sound? What's that sound?"
I really wanted to go to a hot springs in Iceland that was not commercial, like an actual in the wild hot springs. And I went to this place. Like I had several people recommend this one place to me, and we went to it on the last day, and it was nice, but it was like not,
How far away? How long was driving there?
I can't remember what was it called. Like probably 25, 30 minutes from where we were staying.
It was Sky Lagoon?
Yeah.
Well, that's commercial.
That's what it was. Sky Lagoon.
Oh, okay.
There's like a bar in the hot springs, I'm like, give me the wild. Give me wild Iceland. The thing is, I've only been to Iceland twice in the winter. So, I mean, I've got friends that have been there a couple different friends that have been there many times. I'd like to see it. But the thing I like to do, like I love to travel for bridge. I like to go somewhere, play bridge. Yeah, get the experience. There's seriously winter here. But, kind of the focal point is bridge. So I'm not that big of a tourist.
No, but you know that we have that Iceland there has 20 destinations where they have direct flights from North America to Iceland.
Mm.
So if you want to go to Europe, it's a great way to stop in Iceland on the way, and then do some sightseeing and then continue. And for example, if you want to go to Faroe Islands, they have a tournament but it has collided with the spring nationals. But they have a 2-day festival, and it's like 50,000 people who live there, 55 maybe. And that's also very unique if you've never been. But you cannot get there directly from US, of course.
How far is it from Iceland to the Faroe Islands?
I think it's like 1.5 or 2 hour flight. It's not so bad. I have to look it up. I've been there once, and it was really nice. I mean, if you think Icelandic people are nice, Faroe Islanders are even nicer, accommodating people. And going there is like going to Iceland in the old days. I mean, they don't lock their houses, don't lock their cars.
I remember when we were making plans to record this conversation, you were watching the NBA playoffs.
Yes.
So that's probably something that was much harder to do when you're in Iceland.
The time difference was a killer, especially when you were watching West Coast teams. So I mean, I was watching OKC lose against Nuggets in overtime last night, and the game was over. I don't know, 1 a.m. or 12:30. This is like, there's like a 4 or 5 hour difference, between Eastern time and Iceland. So I mean, it's just horrible.
So you stayed up and watched the whole game last night, though.
Unfortunately, I should have done something else.
Are you an OKC fan?
Yes.
Well, that's a good team to be a fan of.
I used to follow Seattle Supersonics. Then Seattle moved to OKC, and I wanted to change teams so badly because I got so mad. But it was hard because I knew everyone on the team. I knew the team, knew the culture, knew the history.
Oh, wow.
And I liked Sam Presti, and I liked what he was doing. I liked the culture and everything. So it was really hard for me to change teams. And then they started this rebuild and got STA going, and it's just really hard to get away from the team. There's so many guys on the team I like, and if you watch OKC and compare them to all the other teams, I mean, they don't complain to the referees like the other teams, like Jokic. I mean, he probably never fouled anyone in his life, right? So I mean, I just think it's a nice way to play basketball, and it's a nice culture, nice atmosphere, and they have fixed so many players who have gone there and been in a bad place in their career, and they, what do you say, reworked their career into being productive and got sold.
Yeah.
Like Al Horford, and he's now playing for Boston. Dennis Schroeder. All these guys got rehabilitated.
All the higher seeds are losing in the playoffs.
I know.
Yeah, it's wild.
And it was unbelievable how bad OKC was shooting yesterday. And I thought it was also very impressive. Did you see Cleveland Pacers?
I was at a bar where it was on, so I saw the score a couple of times. I didn't actually watch the game.
So Donovan Mitchell, he was just a one-man wrecking crew. He just got the ball, and when he got the ball in his hand, he just looked at the basket, and they just somehow connected. And I remember in the end, Darius Garland was in the corner, free for a three-point shot, and he's a pretty good three-point shooter. And Donovan had the ball and was dribbling it, saw Garland, and no, it just went up and scored. I mean, when you see at this level, I mean, player just, what do you say, with sheer willpower, going through and just making things happen. I mean, this is kind of what I thought that Maxwell and Rockdale just did when they were, at their best. They just sit down, and even though you're good, it's so difficult to play against them because they will always believe they're better than you. They will never stop, doing stuff. And in the end, you just lose to yourself because you just don't believe you can win them anymore,
right?
Or you can beat them anymore. I mean, yeah. And this is what I love about any sport. doesn't matter if it's bridge, chess, soccer, basketball. That this mental thing that most of the times when you lose, you don't lose because you got outplayed. You lost because you just stopped believing yourself.
Is basketball how popular is basketball in Iceland? Did you play basketball?
So I think Iceland now qualified for the third time in a row for I think it's Euro 32, Euro 24 or 32. That's the finals of the national team. And we beat Turkey with about 20 points in Turkey to qualify.
Wow.
And if you think about 400,000 people live in Iceland, then how many millions live in Turkey?
Yeah, I mean, there's Turkish NBA players. I'm trying to think. Darius,
yes.
No, Saric isn't from Turkey, I don't think.
No, you don't have. There's not a big name playing. Oh yeah. The center for Rockets, Sengun.
Oh yeah, he's very good.
Yeah, he's very good.
Did he play in the thing?
Probably not.
Did you play basketball? You're like 6'7", aren't you?
6'6".
6'6".
Yeah, I played basketball and while I was the tallest on the field, I liked to play. But when the other guys started to grow up and become muscular and stronger, it started to be difficult. And then I had an ankle injury, and it was so bad that I had to tape my ankle if I wanted to go training or play. It was just too much. So it was like at that point I wanted to try something else, and somehow coincidentally I got introduced to bridge at the same time.
How old were you?
I was between 17 and 18.
And your parents play or
no?
Neither
well,
one.
My dad started to take bridge classes when he retired, and now he's on the board of a club that plays 2 times a week in his neighborhood, and he enjoys it a lot, and he's very, very similar to me in that aspect that he. Both of us like to socialize with people and enjoy our time. So I don't know, because he learned bridge so late in his life. I don't know how high his upside is, but he went one time with me to Madeira, and he was not even close finishing last. So I mean, we were all very happy about that, and I think my mom played like home bridge with, there were like 5 or 6 women. But when I asked her how many boards they played every night, she said 5 or 6. So I don't know exactly. I think it was more like friends meeting and enjoying themselves than playing bridge.
What was the thing that got you going then, besides quitting basketball?
I just needed something to do after I stopped physical sports. And it was too late for me to take up chess again, because if you're not grandmaster by year 12, by your 12-year-old, I mean, your future is kind of not there. And I just had this, at my school, it was just like introductory, I think it was 3 Tuesdays, where they taught bridge for like 2 hours. And he taught us bidding for 2 Tuesdays, and the 3rd Tuesday he came with sets of pre-duplicated boards, and he told us to bid them and get to game, and we would have to make a finesse, and all the finesse would work this time because he wanted to teach us to make a finesse.
Yeah.
And but we should not expect that in real life if we ever continue to play bridge.
Yeah.
And I still remember the first finesse I took was Queen 3rd against Ace 3rd. And I played the Queen, small king. Didn't you say all finesses would work?
Is this guy still alive?
Yeah, yes, I think so. I'm not sure actually. I never saw him play bridge, but he was a pretty good. I think he played. I think he represented Iceland at the junior level. But then somehow life got in his way to play bridge. And the first tournament I played, my best friend picked me up, and we went to play college teams. We went to play for the college championship in teams. And we actually had like 13 teams.
Wow.
And this is at 20 years and younger. Okay. So he gave me a book, 30 Minutes to Precision by C.C. Way. And I read that and we started playing. And we played 7 rounds of 16 board matches over 2 days. How tired do you think I was? And on the last round, we played against a pretty good team because the Swiss format was maybe not working so well. We had already played against all the bottom teams, so we went a little bit higher up. And I was playing against who was later to be one of my good friends and partners.
Yeah.
And I think we ended up in 3 diamonds in a stupid 4-3 fit with 28 points in the end, something like that. And the last 4 tricks, they played hard and roughed, and played hard back and roughed and hard and roughed and hard and roughed. And we were like, what? How could we go down in this contest? I mean, we were probably missing slam or something. I'm not sure exactly. But there was a kipitzer who was, picking one of these guys up to go to a party, and he was laughing the whole time. And I was not sure, what is this guy laughing about? I mean, is it my hair, or is it how I look, or is it? I mean, and it never occurred to me that he was laughing at how stupid we were at playing bridge. So later that night, the kipitzer, he was in a party, and I was in a different party. Those 2 parties merged into one party. And he walks over to me and told me, Svenni, you can play bingo every day of the week. Maybe that's your game.
You still know that guy?
Yeah. I mean, this is just memorable for me because it was maybe at this point that I wanted to learn more about, what this was all about.
Yeah.
Because I realized then that, he was probably laughing at my playing and bidding skills. But just to make it sure, I never played one set of bingo after that.
I remember going to when I was in college. So there was like a town. It's called Ruckersville. It was probably like 20 minutes from where the city where my college was, and a group of us went down there to play bingo one night. And
oh, really?
Yeah, like 20-minute drive. And we show up, and people are probably like, "What did these people doing here?" I did not win. No, did not win in bingo. Haven't played since.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah, but I think I went one time to play what's it called, a charity whist, and it's like whist. The man is like southwest, and if you make more tricks than your opponents, you move to the other table, and then you switch seats on the table so you don't get the same partner all the time, right?
Mm.
And I remember the first 5 hands, I got no more than 4 points. I think it was rigged. These people knew how to shuffle, yeah? And then I forgot I lost. I didn't win my session, so I should move seats on my table. But I went to the other table. I picked up 1 jack. And then they told me you was in the wrong place. So I was so happy, and I went to the other place to get 2 jacks. and I was so unlucky that I was the man who got the second fewest tricks. So I didn't even get a prize for getting the fewest tricks. But I think all these games are probably rigged. The people who shuffle, they know how to shuffle or stuff like that. I don't know. But I never had an opening hand the whole day. It's just unreal.
I keep thinking back to the other Neil story you told me in Austin for the first time. You told him to be there when Neil had like king 7th, 4th of spades, and he and you were vulnerable, the opponents were not. And and it went like, I don't know, you opened the bidding and they overcalled and went pass, and you doubled. Niels pass.
Oh, yes, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. Yes. So, I mean, when I was playing with Niels, there was a lot of hands we didn't agree about. And I mean, that is not uncommon. But every time we didn't agree about it, okay, next break, I have 8 top Danish bridge players on speed dial. I'm going to call them all, and they're all going to agree with me. That was the end of discussion. Every argument we had. I have 8 guys on speed dial, top Danish grandmasters, yes, and they're all going to agree with me.
This is just for those.
But that hand, I mean, we were red, and the opponents were white. And he trapped past them with like A7, 5, 2 or something like that in the suit. I mean, it was ridiculous. But I also think this is the morning where he drove the car of the wife, and he was driving home from the airport at maybe 3 a.m. I don't know.
Oh man. Oh.
But I haven't met Niels for a long time. I hope he would come back to bridge tournaments I play, because he's a lot of fun to be around.
Yeah, he is, totally. And we're gonna probably have to send him an apology. This.
You're gonna have to make an emergency podcast with Niels saying that everything we said is not true.
Oh man. Oh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. What time is dinner tonight?
7, I think. 7 or 8. It's very early if Shannon makes it. It's very late if Mikey and Ali make it. That's the normal thing.
Got it. I believe
and it's very late if I make it, because I slow cook everything. It takes me a long time.
Well, please give my best to all the parties at dinner.
I will.
And
so, are we done now, or do you want to do another one? If you have some questions you want to add, or do you think we have enough material?
Oh yeah, we definitely have enough material for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you want to, if you want to do another like half an hour session and ask something that we forgot, we can always do that also.
Okay.
No problem. Just let me know.
All right.
And if I think about something really funny that we forgot, I think we managed to go through a lot of stuff.
This is definitely one of the episodes where I've laughed as heartily as I don't know that I've laughed more heartily than today.
Yeah, well there was one, was that maybe recorded? It was someone. So when I'm driving, I like to put one of your podcasts on that I haven't listened to. Like when I was driving Levine, I put the podcast with himself on. He was so entertained. One of the most intelligent podcasts he's ever heard. And I also like the one where you had Bart Bromley. I mean, he has a lot of stories.
Yeah.
He knows everything about everyone, right?
He's incredible. I got to have him on again. He was great. He has like this ability to just he'll mark something in his brain, and he goes back to it like an hour later and be like, and finish the story. Like he is a unique human being.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, John, if we're good for now, just let me know if you want to do more.
Okay.
If something we forgot.
Thanks a lot, Svenni.
Thank you. My pleasure.